Tell me about the process that you had to do to get these kids and rough estimate on how many kids you got and how many are from the state of Idaho.
Well, it's still a big day for high school kids all over the country, and obviously there's an early signing period that we didn't sign anybody in the early signing period, so this was kind of our day, and we had a great recruiting class. It kind of always is a all year long thing during the season, but especially after the season at our level. But thrilled to probably headlining the class are our three Idaho guys, Keegan McCoy from Capitol High School, who I think is one of the best players in the state, if not the best, and he's going to be an impact guy right away. Alex Osborne is an offensive lineman and defensive lineman. Right now he's an offensive lineman for the Yotes, but from Fruitland High School, and he's also, I think, a really great player. So definitely two big headliners that help us up front. And then the third is Trevor Manu from Rocky Mountain High School, and we just think he's a little stud, a great athlete, full of fire and vinegar, and he's going to help us. So we're really excited about him.
With the year, the way it ended last year, getting in with a winning record, how did that help out with recruiting and getting these Idaho kids to stay at home as well?
I think it always helps recruiting, plus the number of years in the program, and we are very excited, though we did lose a lot of guys from last year's team, so that's also college football where you have to reload. We opted for the first time to sign some transfers that we will we believe will really help us, and some of that is made possible by the culture that we have in place. Kind of my Bill Walshism for the day is that culture precedes championships. I think we're ready on the culture side. I think we recruited a couple of really good JC players that I think are really going to help us. One is a four-year bounce back, Hunter Juarez, who we recruited from last year out of Marin Catholic High School, which is where our quarterback went as well. So they were kind of battery mates there 2 years ago, but Hunter decided to go to Nevada Reno, but then he came back to us in the middle of the semester. So that's Hunter Juarez, a speedy wide receiver, which does, he'll add to the mix really, really well.
Do you have a rough estimate right now about how many Idaho kids we got on this school?
Idaho guys, there's 20 kids already. Yeah, and so that's the other thing that happens is, in Idaho is our bread and butter. We weren't able to get all the Idaho kids we want, and I feel great for the coaches in Idaho. They do a great job, and Idaho is recruited 5 times better than when I got here. So I think Idaho kids have options. We're hopeful to get our share, and I think we have with those 20 kids. We're also waiting on some of the best players. So that's another difference between the Division I level and our level. Division I, you know, you're kind of done now with their last few guys. And in a certain sense, we're just beginning. Many of the best recruits are still out there because of Ivy League schools, service academies, Division III schools, you know, higher academic kids, and this is probably our best academic class by far, and probably our most talented class. So we really, really like where we are. But there's a few Idaho kids out there that we're still anxious to hear from, and we'll continue recruiting.
Did you find a replacement for Nate Moore, or did you just be able to change his name to Frank Moore, and we'll have more out there?
Well, unfortunately, no, but it was great to have Nate for that last season, and he still is, and he'll get a great honor next week at a basketball game, 3-time All-American, and and then some of his supporting cast of the guys that graduated, Hunter Temple and Malik Whitfield and Andrew Galloway, so good local kids that we hope we can replace. But that's the fun of college football. Sure. It's not the same team for a long time, but you get to reload and continue to build the program, and Nate's stamp and fingerprints are unmistakable on this program, so he'll always be a key guy for us.
Any of the Idaho kids you think could step up and be the next Nate Moore out on the field?
Well, I love the quality guys. The 3 guys I mentioned, Osborne and McCoy and Manu, I mean, I think they're of that caliber and that quality of human beings. So we're thrilled with the the overall quality of our class so far, and yet it's still some exciting stuff out there.
And the number is about 30 kids that you've signed, or
we are at 33.
33.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
20 of the 33 will be
Idaho guys,
wow.
yeah. And we're still regional. I mean, we do recruit Northern California hard, Washington and Oregon. So we're a Northwest operation. So we're excited. But Idaho, as I said, is our bread and butter.
Is the 33, is that the final number, do you think, or do you think it's going to go up a little further?
It should go up a little bit as well. So.
What's next for you guys? When do we start spring camp and get the ball rolling?
Well, we continue. Number one, we continue recruiting, but it is time to get into football. We start spring football the first week in March. There's still some camps and clinics that we'll be involved in, but it's a 12-month-a-year operation. Not a lot of people understand that. So we are excited about getting into football. I think there's a general excitement the way we finished last year, winning 5 of our last 6 against some really good teams. So I think the players are excited. I know the coaches are excited, and we're on to spring ball.
Anything else, Mike?
I think we're good to go. There's always a little turnover, and I don't know if you want to get into just the turnover on the staff, but we lost Kyrie Marshall, a great player at Boise State, so he's now a graduate assistant at Boise State, and that's part of my job too, is developing coaches, and some will stay for a long time, but some have great ambitions, and I'm okay with that. I'm Kyrie Marshall's biggest fan, and think Boise State has a great young coach with that guy. So that's liable to happen as well. And then there's program building stuff, there's fundraising, there's getting our name out there. I honestly think that we're close, and maybe really close to competing for a championship, and I think things get really exciting around here, and the College of Idaho is a great place. I think the number of applications and the excitement around the whole college is off the charts. I think it's a fantastic place, and look forward to seeing it grow here in the next 3-4 years.
I have one more question on recruiting. I don't know if you have had the chance to look, but how did the class that you have compare to the other teams in the Frontier Conference?
You know, I don't really compare just because we have different parameters. We do recruit a lot of the same kids, and but we package differently financially, and so it's really kind of tricky, but too much for us to. Enough for us to keep track of ourselves, let alone keeping track of what they're doing. But the Frontier Conference is recruiting Idaho harder than ever, maybe because they've seen the quality of players that we've gotten out of Idaho. So it's made it tough, because some kids do want the opportunity to get away from home a little bit. But we think Caldwell's still a great option, and fortunately we got our share of guys and some really good players.